I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, January the 21st, brought to you in part by Zoetis. Pretty abbreviated feeder flash today, and not just because I spent all evening helping out with the Randall County, Texas Junior Livestock Show premium sale, but partly due to that maybe, but also because the board was closed for Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and just not a lot of news in the markets going on. Did spend earlier part of Monday with a friend of mine from back east that sends cattle into the lower Texas panhandle, and we were looking at some cattle he had on feed there, and commodity type cattle, plainer type cattle, but looking at the value in those cattle, and there's sure value in all kinds. And some of you folks that think that every steer you see in a feedlot somewhere is all black and he's square made and looks the same, need to come down here into the Texas Panhandle and look around a little bit. Those are kind of in the minority actually. But the board was closed on Monday due to the holiday, but we did get the results in. The weighted average on last week's direct fed cattle trade in your 5 area negotiated trade area, 75,100 head, which is significantly heavier volume than we saw either last week or the same week a year ago. But that's a good thing. But that 75,100 compared to 58,200 last week and 55,500 the same week a year ago. You know, for the most part, we've talked about this all over your 5 area feeding region. Your market was mostly steady on a live basis at 124 and largely $1 lower on a dress basis at 199. But if you break it down and look at the weighted averages in your 5 areas, steers and heifers sold from 122.5 to 127 live, mostly 124. Your weighted average on live steers was 124.03, and that was actually down 44 cents compared to the live steer weighted average from the previous week. Dress steers and heifers selling from $1.98 to $2 even, which is a pretty narrow spread, especially when you compare it to your live sales, but mostly $1.99, and they were mostly $2 the previous week. But your weighted average this past week on dress steers was $199.04, which was 70 cents lower on the weighted average for dress steers from the previous week. Box beef cutout values kind of had a light trade, only 84 loads of cuts, grinds, and trimmings. Your choice cuts were up moderately, 214.64, up 47 cents. Selects up a little bit more, 213.48, up 73. But wanted to show you that, even though it was kind of insignificant, to show you the choice select spread on Monday afternoon, which is actually $1.16. Wow. But look at your feeder cattle market. Your real-time index on DV Auction ended the day on Monday, even though it was a holiday. We still have information going out. 145.28 at the end of the day after a lot of sales on Monday, big high volume sales. That was only 9 cents lower than late last week. But our markets were more lower than that. If you just look straight up on your feeder cattle auctions on Monday, they were dollars cheaper than they were the Monday previously. But your index levels had fallen late last week, so Monday's sales weren't a whole lot lower than what they were. But look at some of your big sales. Of course, the biggest, Oklahoma National Stockyards in Oklahoma City. Another big run for them, 12,500 head. Feeder steers steady to $4 lower. Just straight up. Feeder heifers over 700 pounds. Your bigger feeder heifers steady to $2 lower, but actually your 6 to 7 weight feeder heifer calves $1 higher. Steer calves steady to $5 higher, and heifer calves about steady. But you know, we've seen a falling off here on your feeder cattle and continued drive on your stocker type cattle, even though it's still in the dead of winter. Joplin Regional Stockyards, 6,500 head, pretty good sale for them. Feeder steers and heifers mostly steady, except for your bigger feeder steers weighing over 8, 8s and 9 weight classes of feeder steers, $2 to $4 lower, which is similar to what Oklahoma City had. Your calves under 500 pounds were steady to $4 higher. Look at a couple of individual quotes. Faith Livestock Commission in Faith, South Dakota on Monday sold 71 head of 843 pound steers at $152. And the big quote was Tri-State Livestock Auction, McCook, Nebraska, 55 head of 925 pound steers at $150. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.